So you may have come across a situation where your device sends you a message. Maybe it's an Amber Alert, or maybe it's information about a sale at the mall that you're driving by. Well, either one of those, the situation or what has happened is related to geofencing. That is, someone's created a perimeter around, for example, the mall or the state, and either you ended up inside the perimeter, which then flagged essentially the Amber Alert if you're in the state of Tennessee, or you were near the mall or a buffer of the mall, and that flagged a situation where it sent you some marketing messages related to a sale going on at the mall. So either way, think of a geofence as a polygon shape in our geographic information system, and that could represent the mall or the buffer around the mall or the state or anything else. And if you have an object or a device that's moving about, and if that object is positioned within the buffer, it is now inside the perimeter of the geofence, and we can flag that as a true case, essentially. And if it's outside, we would flag that as not being inside that perimeter. So based on that state change, we can run an action, like sending out a marketing message. So that's basically how geofencing works. Now, why do we use it? We use it for a couple of reasons. One is there's something, a safety management system, cell broadcast, which like reverse 911 is an example of that, or Amber Alerts, or the new presidential alerts that can be sent out to all devices. And essentially the way those work is they're going to send out a message if you're in a certain region, if they're authorized to do so, and that's using the cellular service areas essentially. But you can get more precise. And the other ones, for example, geomessaging, will actually send you information based on where you are, based on location-based services and particular apps that are using location-based services on your device. So for example, the sale at the mall wouldn't just be able to send you something onto your mobile phone. But if you have an app installed, for example, for the store in the mall, this is probably where your message came from. And there's also something called geo-targeting, which we see, and you're probably familiar with this. It's related to digital rights management oftentimes. So for example, if you are in, let's say, another country or in Europe, and you're trying to watch a Netflix movie you've been planning to see, and all of a sudden this message will, or this movie will no longer stream, that's because this movie has digital rights that only apply to the United States, and Netflix does not own those rights to distribute the movie in, for example, Europe. So therefore that movie wouldn't show. And that's another example of geo-targeting. Now, there's plenty of examples of where we would use this. You would use this, for example, if you had an Alzheimer patient with dementia. Maybe there's an ankle bracelet, and if this person left like a 1 mile radius around the house, it would let you know or notify someone. Rental car companies might track their vehicles. You've probably noticed when you've rented a car, it says things like this vehicle can't be driven into Mexico or something like that. So rental car companies can definitely track that vehicle and be alerted if the vehicle crosses into Mexico. You can also track children. For example, if you have a child and you live in a large city, you might be able to track that child's cell phone. And if that child's cell phone leaves a certain area, like their school, during the middle of the day, you know that there's something wrong, and you might want to alert the police or the school and find out what's going on. So those are examples. And you did hear me mention location-based services. So essentially these are services that devices provide, such as a iPhone or an Android device. And again, these are the services that are tied into the location information. So in other words, you're accessing the GPS receiver and the information on that to determine the location. And you're not doing that directly since you're using the service. It's using the device's information about the location. So if your device is using GPS, GLONASS, if your device is using Wi-Fi networks or any other information to determine its position, that's what the LBS sees, or the location-based service. So you don't have to specify which particular type of location to use. Obviously the precision gets better based on what you have it set to, but generally it'll just use whatever the device thinks it's at and set that as a location, and you can use that location for your particular app. So for example, if your phone detects that you're on the Wi-Fi network at Chicago O'Hare and you launch Uber on your app, you might see that it's going to tell you right away that you're at the airport and here are the cars and here's the procedures where to meet a car at the airport. And that's because the Uber app used location-based services to determine where it was at. And of course, it asked the device, the phone, and said, hey, where are we currently located? And it used whatever service was available, whether that was the Wi-Fi at the airport or whether that was the GPS signal if you were outside the airport, for example, to determine its location. Now, location-based services are used in a couple different ways. One is you could use them for navigation. So if you use Google Maps and you're navigating around, it's definitely pulling in the location-based services off the device. There's also some tracking apps that you may use. Social media definitely uses as well to send you special information about people that may be in your area or deals that are going on in your particular area. And there's location-based games as well, like Pokemon Go. Thank you for watching. I hope that the information I provided to you will help you with your information systems and your location analytics career.